Welcome into Section 65. It's episode 5. I'm your host, Clay Keaton, alongside my partner and good friend, Tanner Colson. Section 65, the official SEC podcast of Garage Guys Fantasy Sports. A big weekend last weekend in the SEC as all the teams were back in action. Tanner, I like that shirt.
Yeah, I don't love it. It's not my favorite.
For the listeners, Tanner is repping the orange today as the Tennessee Volunteers defeated the South Carolina Gamecocks last Saturday by a nice score of 31-27.
Yeah, very important to some bettors out there, probably, that score.
Way to cover, Vols. Way to win and cover. A great day to be a Vol. Stressful day, but not surprised that the Gamecocks figured out a way to lose.
We'll get to that.
Didn't look that bad, though, Tanner. We've got a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to look at some more lines, talk about what we thought about from last week. And week 2, SEC. Tanner, let's get ready to roll.
It's finally here. All right, Clay, it's finally that time of year, man. I feel like it's not really fall until SEC football starts, man. It's like the weather's changing, the leaves are turning, it's cooling down a little bit.
It hasn't been over 70 degrees in Knoxville this week, I don't think.
Yeah, down here in Charlotte, it's finally turned. It's been like sweltering all summer, and now it really feels like fall's here. You know, without football, it's kind of fraudulent. But now we're really in the thick of everything, man. We got a lot going on. We finally got real games last week. We had Florida played Ole Miss. They won 51-35. Big cover by Florida.
Way to cover, Gators. There was a chance for a backdoor Ole Miss cover in that game. It came down to the last play. I'm surprised Kiffin didn't do better at covering the spread.
I was you know that Lane Kiffin, if there's one football coach I know is like very aware of spreads, I know it's Lane Kiffin. And I think he was doing everything in his power to, like, you know, even if you lose the game, if you at least cover, you're going to make a lot of people in Oxford very happy.
Very true. I mean, I could see Kiffin. I wouldn't even put it past Kiffin to say that he might not have a few side bets out every Saturday.
Yeah, he might have bet against his own team or something like that. The way that they played on that final play, I was sweating. I'm not going to lie. I had big cash on the game, but let me tell you what, man, Florida might be everything that everyone's hyped them up to be, bro.
Yeah. The Gators look good. Pitts look good. Trask look good. You know, I don't know if their defense is going to be as high-powered as it's been in the past. Florida's usually been, you know, a team with a good offense and then a great defense. But I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see as the year goes on. But, yeah, I was very impressed with the Gators. Unfortunately, they look pretty good. And I think – did you see the video, Dan Mullen? It's been on Twitter, Mullen talking about how he doesn't care what it is. His attitude is that he's going to beat your ass at it. You know, and he even says in the press conference, he says, "You want to do a thumb war right now? I'll kick your ass." He says that. So you need to go watch it. But he said that's just the mentality that they're trying to play with, and that's how it looked last week.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's really looking like a really smart choice by Dan Mullen to say, screw you to Mississippi State and go and defect over to Florida. I mean, he was he was all right at Mississippi State, but as far as that program goes, they just weren't really going anywhere. And now, you know, Mississippi State looks better and Florida is in good hands. I think Dan Mullen might be legit. It cracked me up. I don't know. I'm not comparing these two in like a real way, but Kyle Trask reminds me of like Big Ben a little bit, where like he literally is like the least athletic guy on the field at any given time, but he's just like huge and he isn't afraid to run. I mean, he might be the ugliest scrambler I've ever seen in my life, but it just like, it works.
Yeah, he does look pretty lost out there sometimes athletically, but let's talk about Mississippi State. Let's talk about the trouble in Tiger Town that we've been talking about the last 4 weeks. I didn't think that the storm was gonna hit this quick, but Mike Leach, they you know how many yards of play they got?
I don't know yards of play, but I know they broke all like the records.
8.3 yards of play. 8.3. Almost 8.5 yards of play every play.
Shame on all of the people that said that Mike Leach and his air raid style would not work in the SEC. I mean, he literally comes in and in one game breaks the passing record with KJ Costello, who, you know, he seems like a good player, but I didn't see that coming from him. I mean, yeah, I was under the impression, I bet on Mississippi State in this game. I had a feeling they were going to cover.
Great bet.
We've been talking about the trouble in Tiger Town. I wish the only thing I wish in hindsight is that I took the money line, which I'm sure a lot of people are probably saying that today.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course.
I don't know about LSU this season, man. We might have even been generous. What did we say they would win? 6 games?
6, yeah.
I mean,
I was counting this Mississippi State as a win.
That's what I mean. So maybe they'll get it all together. I think they just had someone opt back in, but look, it's looking like Jamar Chase might have made the right call sitting this one out this year. They're reloading.
Yeah, maybe not a bad idea by Chase. Maybe he made the right decision.
But back to Mike Leach, it just goes to show something that always cracks me up about the SEC is that they just like play like patty cake with all their coaches. Like it's like the coaches are all the same every year, and then they just switch teams or go to a different team or become a coordinator somewhere else. And it's like they finally bring a guy in from the outside and Mike Leach, and he's lighting it up. I mean, I was excited when he came, and I'm even more excited now. That guy's what was his class he teaches? War tactics or something?
Yeah,
it looks like it's paying off.
I just hope that the Leach wagon keeps moving, and I hope they keep winning. I mean, I don't have a problem with Mississippi State, and honestly, I like Mike Leach enough to be like, I mean, if Mississippi State being good means that LSU and Alabama are going to have another challenge, then so be it.
I'm here for it.
Let it happen. Here come the Bulldogs, the cowbells. The cowbells are ringing.
We need more cowbell. What's that? The SNL sketch. More cowbell. I'm here for it. I'm here for Mike Leach. Give me more cowbell in my life. I want some contenders for.
I thought I had a cowbell in here. I don't.
I was wondering what you were doing, but yeah, I mean, any contenders we can add to the West, I'm excited for. And I love Mike Leach, man. I love him. I'm hoping Lane Kiffin can kind of, like I said about all the retreads in the SEC. Lane's been around the conference for years now, and he's, it looks like it's kind of evolving, especially after LSU's year last year. They were basically like a spread offense or something.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Maybe times are finally changing. They always say things move a little slower in the South. I mean, it's
especially in Starkville.
Yeah, in Starkville. But it's refreshing to see some new coaches coming in, getting a little bit of shine. Good for Mike Leach. And
Team of the week, the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Let's go.
What a week for them. Congratulations to the Bulldogs. And
I think I have a new favorite team in the West for this season. I think they're my LSU of last year.
Okay.
Anyways.
I had a favorite team in the West for this year. I picked the Aggies. Shame on you, Texas A&M. Shame on you, Jimbo Fisher. The Vanderbilt Commodores should never, ever cover. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're a 31-point favorite at home, and you let Vanderbilt hang around. You only win by 5?
Yeah, that
Kellen Mond did not look like the Kellen Mond that they've been talking about all offseason.
Oh, no. Well, not to mention, I don't know if you remember this, but a couple years back, they made like championship rings for Tech or something like that for Texas A&M, like dated this year. So when they hired Jimbo, they literally made like a national championship award for themselves for 2020. It was the most ridiculous move ever then, and it looks even worse now. I mean,
are you fucking kidding me?
I swear to God, I'll have to look it up. I'll see if I can find something. I'll put a picture on the pod or something. But yeah, they kind of, this was supposed to be their year, and I fell victim to it too. I think Jimbo is a great coach, but whatever they.
Well, I'm not counting them out. I mean, they still won the game, but I'm just saying, Vanderbilt doesn't have nothing, and maybe Vanderbilt's defense was maybe a little bit better than we thought, but still, I mean, you're a 31-point favorite for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, that was an absolute rock fight. They were just, there was like 3 big plays in the whole game. It was one of the most boring games I've watched all season. And then on top of that, now everyone's going to start talking about is, maybe we're overvaluing Jimbo at the beginning of seasons, man. I've been on A&M every year for like 4 years now, and I keep thinking they're turning the corner, and I just don't know.
It's not. I mean, if they keep playing like they played on Saturday, it's not this year. I mean, they'll lose 5 games.
They'll lose a lot of games if they can't.
Yeah, I mean,
Vanderbilt by more than 5.
Right, and so I don't know.
Just what an ugly score! It was 12-17. How do you even end up at 12 points? What was it? 4 field goals?
Maybe 4 field. That's a stat we should know. I'd actually like to know. If Vanderbilt only scored 4 field goals, I would love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll be interested to see, you know, what the Aggies are going to do. But
yeah, I want to know how people in College Station are feeling right now. That's one of the craziest fan bases in the country, and this was their year, man. They anointed themselves the 2020 national champions in like 2017. So there might be some trouble in Aggie land too.
yeah, that was a ridiculous thing of them to do. So, another place. Well, let's talk about the transfer rule. The SEC presidents met, and they have decided that the transfer rule changed, and now everybody's cleared except for
Jalen Brooks at South Carolina didn't get his.
Otis Reese.
Yeah, Otis Reese too, from the one he went from Ole Miss to Georgia, I think, or vice versa. But so Cade Mays got his stuff all figured out, and Otis Reese and Jalen Brooks, the receiver at South Carolina, are both kind of still in limbo. I'm sure if Georgia gets any transfers again, we'll hear from them very shortly. They'll be on the field in no time. But
you know what? Nothing made me happier on Saturday than put that Georgia Bulldogs game on and see them playing like absolute dog shit.
Dog shit. Oh, I was excited.
Shout out to Sam Pittman.
Dude, at halftime, I really thought I was getting all excited. I got a little bit ahead of myself, but I thought this was the week. I thought karma was coming for Kirby early. I thought they were going to be.
I didn't think that, but I mean, hey, I think we might be onto something. I really think we might be onto something with the Bulldogs, and I'm working on having somebody on from Athens. Not going to say any names yet, but somebody that definitely would intrigue Bulldog Nation. But. Yeah, very interesting to see. And Georgia plays Auburn this weekend. Big rivalry, usually not played till the end of the season. The line, it's in Athens. The line is 6.5. Georgia 6.5. Auburn plus 6.5 is going to be one of my picks. But we'll get more into that. But yeah, very, very interesting. Georgia just didn't look very good. JT Daniels has been cleared. I don't know if they're going to stick with Bennett. Here's what I want to happen. Here's what I want to happen. I want them to start JT Daniels on Saturday. I want him to come out and play like shit. And then I want them to put Bennett back in. And then Bennett's going to get back in and also play like shit because his confidence is going to be low because he's going to say, well, they didn't want me out here. They didn't trust me.
I already got benched.
I've seen this for years as a Vol fan. I've seen it for years. These quarterbacks are head cases. They are loose cannons and they're soft. And so, actually, I take that back. They're not all of them are soft. Some of them are soft.
Is a strong term, but
yeah. But like I said, it really can mess with a quarterback's head, throwing them in there. And I just have never been a fan of the 2 quarterback system. I think then you leave one guy in there and let him get a groove.
If you have 2 quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks. That's just
correct.
The way it goes. I'm with you though. I would love it. I think Jamie Newman opting out might have hurt them probably more than they think.
Oh my gosh. I mean, they need him. I mean, and what's sad and what's great, and today's actually the 4-year anniversary of the Juwan Jennings Hail Mary against the Bulldogs. But what's sad is you're right. Jamie Newman should be there. And what's even sadder is, who else should be there? Oh. Justin Fields.
Oh, the one that got away from
the chosen one.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, how you choose Jake Fromm, who's basically a statue. I think he was, a 6th-round pick. And for when you have Justin Fields waiting in the wings.
Right.
I mean, that baffles me. That's
unbelievable.
I mean, I love it. It's one of my favorite things that ever happened. Jake Fromm, he was all right, but he was great at losing the big games. So I was all about it. But if they had Justin Fields there, I could only imagine how good they would be this season.
I agree, 100%. I would pick them to win the conference.
Yeah, maybe even Jamie Newman. I don't know. If JT Daniels isn't kind of what they're looking for, hopefully we'll get that karma for Kirby very, very soon.
Karma's coming, Kirby.
It's coming for you, buddy. But
I'll tell you one thing, man. I don't know if you watched. Alabama's loaded.
Oh, yeah.
They're loaded.
Anyone that thought they weren't going to be right back in the conversation this year was –
yeah. I mean, I think Clemson's also loaded, but I'm going to watch Bama a little more closely this weekend. I think – I mean, granted, Bama played Missouri, but I think they're loaded.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see, like, LSU just had all these guys leave for the draft, and now they kind of look lost out there. But Bama has that happen pretty much every season, and every year they just keep coming back with more guys. I mean, their ability to reload is.
It's like Thomas said. It's the and here comes another guy just out of the water wheel.
Just out of nowhere. They had what, 2 first-round receivers this year, probably have another 2 or 3 next year.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That quarterback looks like he knows what he's doing. And by the way, shame on you, Nick Saban, because unlike Lane Kiffin, I feel like Nick Saban actively despises betting spreads because he pulled all the starters, or basically just started playing like, hacky sack out there.
Right.
When they were covering my spread, that was one of my big bets of the week. And they let Mizzou get the backdoor cover on him. So shame on you, Nick Saban. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. I think he was sending a message to bettors.
I kind of agree that Saban might have a sick, twisted mind saying, college football shouldn't be used for gambling.
Mm-mm. Nick Saban would absolutely never involve money with college football. That's dirty. He's not that kind of guy. He's an upstanding citizen. But he screwed over a lot of people, especially down in Alabama. If I were an Alabama fan right now, I'd be pissed. If I had money on the game, I'd say, Nick Saban, what are you doing? We're Bama. We run up the score. We never stop scoring.
I know. What are they doing? They've always.
They're not afraid to just blast a team like 55-2. Like they'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's hilarious what you said about Saban and not incorporating money in college football. But
never. Yeah, he's the highest paid state employee in Alabama.
Oh yeah. I mean, he might as well be the governor of Alabama.
Right.
If he ran for governor of Alabama,
it'd be a landslide.
I don't think it'd be close.
No, I think he would probably just do that and take on none of the responsibilities and just keep coaching. I mean, the guy's a machine. I mean, I think. I'm hoping that maybe they'll slip up somewhere, but based on how everyone else was looking at, maybe Auburn, I don't know who's their closest competition this year.
I would have said A&M.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, they played Georgia.
Oh, true. All right. Well, I mean, if Georgia, hopefully JT Daniels is the answer there, man. Otherwise, I will be throwing big money on Bama in that match.
Hey, we'll see about Georgia. I mean, if Georgia wins on Saturday, then that'll be pretty telling. If Tennessee wins on Saturday, we'll have Georgia-Tennessee at 3:30 game of the week next week. And that'll be very fun.
That'd be fun.
That'll be very fun.
Well, speaking of Auburn as the biggest competition, Kentucky fooled me again. I'll just admit it right now. I didn't make them one of my 3 bets, but
yeah, I mean, it was a good look. The reason I took that is it looked good.
It was the right. Good. I think you made the right bet. Like I think it was one of those situations where you.
It's like where you hit. It's like where you stay. At the table on blackjack, you stay because the dealer's got a bus card and you let that dealer bust. But sometimes that motherfucker gets 21.
Yeah, I mean I think that you picked the right side. I wouldn't hang my head on that one at all. That's I did it again where I think Kentucky's better than they are. I feel like I do this like every season, or at least the last few. But they looked pretty good. They looked all right. They weren't terrible, but you want to put up more than 13 points against Auburn. If you want to make any noise.
Yeah. If you're gonna win.
Yeah. Bo Nix, by the way, I kind of like him, man. I
like him too.
I think he's good. He's a good young quarterback, and I love that he's like. There's pictures of him in the stands at Auburn when he was like a kid and his dad was the quarterback. I mean,
he's definitely a good player, and he'll be great to watch.
Just a good.
I hope that Auburn, excuse me, because I just always feel like Auburn is like they're either like number 1 or 2 or 3 in the country, or they're like number 8 in the country, but they're probably really not the 8th best team in the country, but they somehow beat Alabama or something weird like that. You know what I'm saying?
They're kind of a tough team to like get your arms around a little bit. It's kind of reminds me of LSU at like the end with Les Miles, where it's like they win, 8 to 11 games every season, but they're just kind of that second tier outside of like the elite teams in the country, where they've got the players and they've got the juice and they win some big games, but for some reason they always kind of end up like that top end of the conference, but they're just They just don't seem to have it. I personally, I do not like Gus Malzahn. I think I'm just not about him. I hate his
He's a
vest.
weirdo. What the fuck was he wearing?
Was he wearing a vest again?
No, he was. I think he might have been honoring somebody. Maybe I shouldn't be talking shit about it, but he was wearing like a short sleeve button down with a tie.
Yeah, that's weird. He was dressed like a Mormon.
Yeah, I don't.
Or something, but yeah, that's I don't know what it is about Malzahn. I just can't. He's a Les Miles to me.
The boom, how he's always like every time they score or get a recruit, he's like, boom, boom. That's so lame.
It just doesn't make.
That's so stupid.
What is it? I mean,
like, why do you have to say like so aggressively, like with the arm, like boom?
Yes. Whenever he tweets it, I always like have a visual in my head of him just like you're doing, just yes,
boom. And I'm just like, bro, just like that's just weird. Like,
dude, they've got Go Tigers, they've got War Eagle, and he's wasting his time with his boom.
Why are you saying? Just say War Eagle. War Eagle is cool.
Yeah,
War Eagle is cool. Like the fact that I
understand it completely, but like it's badass.
Yeah.
There's something to it. And what else do they say? It's like TDE or
War Damn Eagle, WDE.
Yeah, War Damn Eagle. Say that, you know. Instead, he's sticking with this boom thing, and he's every time I've had it up to here with it, he doubles down. I mean, you can't stop the man. He's gonna boom until he loses that job or dies. I don't think he might even. If he ends up coaching somewhere else, just take the boom with him. That might
he'll lose that job. Just like same thing happened to Gene Chizik. Just same thing that happened to Tommy Tuberville. You know, you have your good few years at Auburn, then they fire you, and you know, then they bring in somebody else.
It's kind of a tough job, really. You know,
it really is. And is Auburn a top? I mean, Auburn's an elite job.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's tough though having your out of conference game or your in conference rival be Bama though. I mean, but that makes that's always the game I'm most excited for pretty much every season.
And their East opponent every year is Georgia, so they play Georgia and Bama. I mean, realistically, they are the Tennessee of the West. They're better.
Yeah,
but I mean, and it's like better,
but
last time I was in Auburn, they were all so nice to us because they're like, you know, we don't really have a problem with Tennessee. I mean, we hate the same. We all hate the same teams. I mean, we hate Alabama and Georgia, and you know, and so do y'all. And so
we're cool.
Yeah, and I was just like, that's. I mean, I just was telling. I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, you know, usually when in Knoxville, when you win, you're not getting a bunch of congratulations. You're getting, you know,
shit on. Yeah, I mean, but you know what they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, you know? So
yeah, that's true.
For Auburn, they're just like, hey, man, we both hate the same teams. Screw it. I mean, and not to mention, I'll say, I've been to Auburn a couple times, and that is one of the friendliest towns I've been to.
Yeah, it's a great place. I'm actually planning on going down there for the game. Yeah. Hopefully I get a ticket.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in the same boat, but I would probably rank Auburn as far as, you know, visiting fans. It's probably one of my favorite places I've ever been. You know, you don't have to worry about getting barked at or, you know, attacked or anything. I will stand Auburn forever. I like Auburn, but yeah, you know, they did what they always do. They beat teams they should beat, and then they, you know, lose to teams they should lose to. Kind of. It seems like a yearly thing. But let's get into the big game for the boys. I think we talked about all the other ones, but 7:30 kickoff. Tennessee beat South Carolina in Columbia, 31-27. God damn it! we hung in there, we hung tough, and we fucking worked our way back. We looked kind of lost for a little bit, and then we finally found our footing, and we muffed the punt, and we're down 4. So our only options were to get the punt, drive down the field, win the game, and cover, or we did what we did and we muffed it, lost the game, and didn't cover the spread. So
hilarious. And I gave you the points too.
I know. Well, that's what sucked. Watching that last drive, I was like, no way, we're down 4. So I'm gonna.
How good is Vegas? I mean, how good is Vegas?
They know exactly what they're doing. It's
unreal.
Like, shouts out to Vegas for that one. That was a great line. You know,
great line.
I thought that. Totally anonymous guy, Colin Hill, that we've got playing quarterback. He looked all right, you know. Not really. I don't know that he's a difference maker, but he seemed to know what he's doing. You know, I think he's like 24 or something like that. But I mean, he's got the experience. He looked all right. And how about our all-name team player, Toyo, with maybe the play of the year so far on that interception?
Toa. But yeah.
Toa?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird pronunciation. But yeah, that was an unreal play. He was able to stay in bounds. I don't know how he stayed in bounds.
That was the game right there. I mean, it ended up being the game. He stayed in bounds. He was shredding guys off of him. I mean, I don't think anyone could have stopped him. I don't know if Eric Reed could have stopped him out there. I mean,
he's a monster linebacker.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, I mean, he's just all around great player. I mean, he's just the real deal. And Jarrett Garantano catches a lot of heat and a lot of, especially from Vol fans. But I didn't think he played that bad. He was 19 for 31, I think, 259 yards and a touchdown, no picks.
He had that one really nice bomb he threw.
I mean, were you at that BYU Tennessee game last year?
Oh yeah. Great game.
Do you remember that game and him just throwing it to the wrong team in crucial moments? I mean, he had some throws that really sailed on him. But my God, thank God they didn't sail into the other team's arms.
Yeah, I mean, as a Cox guy, I love to hate Tennessee quarterbacks. It's kind of my thing. I like Josh Dobbs, though. I'll give Josh Dobbs that. I didn't like playing him because he's good. But
I thought you were a Manning guy.
I'm a what?
I thought you were a Manning guy.
Oh, I love Manning, but I mean, I'm talking about quarterbacks when we're playing up against him. Manning's the man. I mean, he's the GOAT. Is that him?
There he is up there.
For people that can't see, Clay's got a nice little. Was that autographed?
Oh yeah, hell, I'll take it down.
Jesus. Oh shit. Oh, Clay might have just broken his signed Peyton Manning picture he's got up in his room.
Oh no, it's a bullshit one from high school. It's a picture of me and my loser high school friends.
Oh, jeez.
Here's Manning. Look at
what the hog mollies on the offensive line at? Oh, that's nice.
That's
I got
that's a sheriff right there, buddy.
Dude, I've got a Peyton Manning rookie card. It's my jam.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm gonna make millions off it one day.
Millions.
Nah, I don't know about all that. But
how much is that shit worth? I have one with like a piece of a football or something in it. Is that worth like $20? Because I could use $20.
Like the patch one? Like it's got like a part of his jersey?
It's got part of a ball that he threw or played with.
I've never even heard of that, to be honest with you. That could be worth a lot. I have no clue. I've never even heard of those types of cards, but I'm not huge.
I honestly think the trading cards are just the losers.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I have one card and it's my Peyton Manning rookie. But speaking of the Tennessee South Carolina game, did you see this video that got released of Will Muschamp?
Oh my gosh.
From a couple of years back.
What in the world? Did you hear what he said about it yesterday? He was just like, yeah, it's not supposed to be between two people. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but he really just did not care.
He did. I mean, listen.
Good for him for not caring, if you ask me.
This video, for people that haven't seen it, I'll try to link it up in the pod, but it's literally just Will Muschamp in like a promo video for, I think, inside the stadium during games, and he goes, "All right, Carolina, get the fuck up," or like stand the fuck up or something like that. And he just like screams it. And I guess it's from a couple years back, but it absolutely cracked me up, man. I thought I love it. I mean, that's a football guy if I've ever seen one. He didn't seem to care at all about the backlash. But that was pretty funny, man.
Oh, it was hilarious. And yeah, him. I mean, I think he's probably pissed about the loss and doesn't want to have to deal with any other bullshit. And the fact that came out, it would have been great if they would have won. Probably wouldn't even been questioned about it, other than it being a joking, a joke of a question. But pretty funny stuff there.
All right, let's go into. We're off last week now. We're moving on to this week. So, in our bets that we made last week, we picked every game, but we are of our top three. I went 2-1. So that's 66%. I don't know if anyone at home is a math whiz, but that's pretty good in gambling. And Clay also went 2-1. I had Mizzou screwed me, or I should say Nick Saban screwed me on the backdoor cover. But, I think I made the right bet. I don't feel too bad about that. And Clay lost on Kentucky and Auburn, which I think is a totally fair mistake to make. But let's try to keep the train rolling, Clay. Let's try to
let's keep it down. I mean, I'm gonna write it down right here. Tanner and Clay, and we're both 2-1. You said?
Yeah, 2-1. 66%. I don't know about people at home, but it sounds like if you fade us, you're losing money. We are giving out free money here.
Yeah.
So let's get into our week 3 picks. Clay, what do you got?
All right, I got 3 picks for this week. I was looking at the Tennessee line again. It's at 11.5 right now. I think I saw some sites where it's 9.5. I'm not going to take that. I got too much going on, too much invested. First game back in Neyland. It's an absolutely huge weekend, and there's no room to have any more extra stress by betting on the Vols, so I'm not going to take it. But I will take Alabama minus 17.5. I just think Alabama's loaded. And here's another reason why I'm looking for them to really play to not let to run it up. They need to run it up.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say, especially after last weekend. But Alabama minus 17.5. Against Texas A&M, who I thought that this line would be closer. I thought that I would be betting on Texas A&M. I'm not doing it. I'm taking Alabama 17.5 against the Aggies, who I said were going to be the 3rd best team in the SEC West. Maybe
Jimbo gave you absolutely no choice here. I mean, whatever they put out on the field last week, I think I would love to bet against Alabama, but if I'm betting on that game, which I'm not, I don't know how you say A&M is the smart choice. I think I think Nick Saban is going to take Jimbo Fisher and he's just going to remind him who's boss. Just let him know where he stands on the totem pole.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bama wins big. And then we've got Florida and South Carolina. It's at Florida in Gainesville. Florida minus 17.5. I'm going to take the Gators again. Riding with the Gators. Toot 'em! No, it's sad, but I mean they're looking pretty good, and it's all about the money, not about the fandom. So, and then my last one. Here's what I think. I'm down on Georgia. I'm worried about Georgia. There's trouble in Tiger Town, and there could be something going on in Athens. Karma is running through the air in Athens. It's floating around. Georgia's favored by 6.5. I don't think it should be that much.
No.
I'm going to take Auburn plus 6.5. And I would probably take it. I would, yeah, plus 6.5. But I mean, I would take it even lower than that.
Yeah, I that line definitely stuck out to me a little bit, considering how they both played in week 1. But yeah,
well, a home game for Georgia, big. But we just don't know. And I'm gonna have a good feel for it after going to the Tennessee game this weekend. But I mean, does home field even matter? I don't know. I mean, I'll get back to you on Saturday or next week and tell you how Neyland is. But I mean, some of the games look like there was a decent amount. I mean, at least the way they're having these people sit, some of the stadiums look like at least gave the illusion that they might be a little bit full. I mean, there was some crowd noise. I mean, when South Carolina got a first down, you could hear the crowd. Was it automated? Was it fake crowd noise? I'm sure a lot of it was.
I think they're allowed to pump a little bit in.
Tennessee pumps in fake crowd noise when there's 102,000 people in there.
I did not know that, but I mean, yeah, I don't see any reason why not to pump in a bunch of noise. Is Tennessee pretty much only giving tickets to like season ticket holders?
Well, no, they actually had like 1,000 tickets left over that they sold this week. I mean, but
okay, so
there
are
25% with the season ticket holders.
So there are actually like other teams fans though in the audience, I guess was my question.
Yeah, I mean there were some Vol fans in the South Carolina audience, but yeah, there'll definitely be some other teams fans, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially player family.
Yeah, might as well. But all right, so
take a look at your bets here, Buster.
All right. I got a nice little slate here. Again, if you want free money, follow me. If you don't, fade me. If you want to lose money, go for it. But I'm going to take Kentucky minus 6.5 versus Ole Miss.
Okay.
I think I love Lane Kiffin. He's just a character, and I love that he's in the conference. But I think it's going to take a little bit of time to get that ball rolling there. I don't know about this Rice Plumlee guy, but I think Kentucky's going to be back this week. I think they're going to be able to cover against Ole Miss. So I'm taking Kentucky minus 6.5, and then I smell there's trouble in Tiger Town. Don't get me wrong. There's some serious LSU issues going on, but I think minus 20 versus Vandy. I think it's a big rebound game. I see them coming out showing. Listen, maybe we're not the LSU that we were last year, but this is Vanderbilt we're talking about. I mean,
Yeah, LSU needs to get it together.
Yeah, I like them. Well, and I know that they're not going to take their foot off the gas in this one after what happened last week. I think they're going to score as many points as they can. I think they want to get a little bit of rhythm. And then bad news for you, man. I'm fading you on the South Carolina bet. I never do this. I never bet on my own teams because, like you said, I don't need that kind of stress in my life. But I think the Gamecocks they don't really get blown out all that often. Will Muschamp's defenses.
That's fair.
Will Muschamp's defenses are awful between the 20s. Like you can just waltz right down to the 20-yard line, but they kind of stiffen up a little bit in scoring situations. I just think 17.5 points is a lot. It's a relatively big rivalry game in the last 10 years.
Especially for the Cox. And it really is. With Spurrier, all that drama from, 10 years ago and all that. I mean, that was huge. It was a huge deal when Spurrier beat the Gators.
They were going back and forth for a while. I just think 17.5, if you're not going to follow me on one bet, that might be the one. Maybe I'm just in like a brain fog with, because it's my own team, but I think I like the line. I'm betting the line here.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, in some other games that we got, outside of those, we've got Arkansas at Mississippi State. That's minus 18 for Mississippi State. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, me either. I don't fuck that.
We've got, I think that's pretty much it, actually. I think we touched pretty much all of them.
Yeah. I mean, those are the ones that I'm most confident in and most excited about. It's a big weekend, I'm like I said. I mean, I'm starting to kind of. I had my my game one nerves. I have the same nerves about the season, no matter whether we're at home or away. And honestly, I don't think Missouri's. I think Missouri's a lot worse than South Carolina. But
let me tell you one thing, though. Their coach from App State, I'm a North Carolina guy, Drinkwitz, which, by the way, all-time last name for a coach. I love it. But, I mean, at App State, he was a beast, man. He knows what he's doing. I don't know that he'll be able to kind of overcome the talent deficit they've got. But I think X's and O's, and, I think he might be able to make them matter in the next couple of years. I don't think it's this year, but
yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. He kind of pissed me off talking about. He said something about Neyland Stadium, and it's a shame that he's not going to get the full experience. But it'll be very interesting to see. And it'll be very interesting to hear. I'm sure for the listeners and for the viewers, but how Neyland Stadium is. Because there's a lot of people that aren't getting to go. I mean, that's just how it is. It's sad. It sucks. Fortunately enough for me, I'm getting to go, but. There's a lot of people that aren't going to get to go, and I'm very curious to see. I mean, and my dad was telling me the other day, he played in the Emerald Youth Golf Tournament. It's like Rick Barnes's #1 charity or whatever. And Mark Pankratz, who was a coach on Bruce Pearl's staff at Tennessee, now works with my dad anyway. So they got to hang out with Coach Barnes, and Coach Barnes told Dad that Tennessee's not doing rows. He doesn't know what they're doing, but apparently Fulmer said that they're not doing rows. Because, I mean, did you notice how the South Carolina – I mean, most of these stadiums are just doing rows down all the way down.
Yeah.
I think it looks weird. I think it looks weird.
Well, I don't understand how that's preventing anything either. Like, you would think that you would want to kind of stagger it, like where –
everything that they're doing is – and I know that we got to play it safe, but there's some things that they're doing that just don't make any sense. Number one thing that they're doing that doesn't make sense to me, the freaking band should be on the field before the game. Tennessee should be able to run through the tee before the game. There's 120 yards on that freaking field. Spread them out more. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If it's that big of a deal, spread them out more because we need the band on the field. It's a tradition. It's a huge deal. The band members work hard. They bust their ass all summer long, marching around in the heat, and now they don't get to do their pregame or their halftime show. It's bullshit. I tweeted about it earlier. I think it's bullshit. I've ran through the tee. That's why I'm so passionate about it. It's unlike anything you'll ever experience, and there's going to be Tennessee players who quit after this year like I did, and they're going to not be able to say that they ran through the tee, and it's a fucking shame. And that's how I feel about it. Bands should be on the field at every stadium in the SEC.
I mean, I agree. Are they?
Tell you how I really feel.
They're in the crowd, right? They just can't.
Yeah, they're in the crowd. They're in the crowd.
All right. Yeah, in that case, they're already blowing their germs everywhere. I mean, it's not like keeping it in one area. They're probably blasting those things.
We're on the field swapping blood, sweat, and spit, and all kinds of other shit. and we can't have the band out there. I mean, they can adjust their march and march farther away from each other.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
There's got to be something they could do to just. I mean, college football is all about pageantry, man. And
dude,
Tennessee,
the college football bands are sick. Ohio State's
awesome.
band is sick. LSU's band is sick. Alabama's band is sick.
Yeah, I actually like SEC halftime. Like when you go to an NFL game and they do halftime, everyone just like sits there with their thumbs up.
Go look at my tweet of the Tennessee Circle Drill. Go to my Twitter. Put our Twitter handles on here when you do that. And everybody go look at my tweet at the freaking Tennessee Circle Drill. It's beautiful. No other band does it. And it's majestic. It's lovely. It's honestly really cool to watch. And you should watch it. If you haven't seen the Tennessee Pride of the Southland band Circle Drill, you should watch it.
Yeah, I'm just bummed that we don't get to watch that. What's his name? The guy that runs through everything.
I don't know who the drum major is this year, but yeah, the high step. It's unbelievable.
It's like watching Red Panda do her thing. With the
I get to the game like I'm the fan that it's at the tailgate when the game's at 3:30. I'm in there by 3 because I want to watch the band. I could hang out with the keg for 20 more minutes. But instead, I go in because I want to watch the band. That's how good they are, man. They're good. All of these bands are, and they should be on the field. They work hard.
I mean, I think you're totally right. I don't see any reason.
I'm just passionate about the music.
You can have fans in the stands all sneezing and coughing on each other's backs, and we can't have the band out.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to count every person that I see that is not wearing their mask at Neyland, and we'll see what the number is.
Yeah, we should get you one of those little like.
That's actually a good idea.
Capacity counters. Just see how many you find while you're there.
Hell, I'm sure one of the ushers will have one. I'll just reach in his pocket.
Might as well. What's he gonna do?
I usually don't do anything that'll risk me getting kicked out of the game before the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea. But anyways, let's get into some other news. We had a big week for the all name team that we released earlier in I think episode 2. Bumper Pool of Arkansas was absolutely flying around, man, making plays. He's a strong candidate. Toa, with that awesome interception. Cavossier Tony, I think is his name, on Kentucky. He scored the first SEC football touchdown of the year. Everything's looking up for the all-name team right now. I don't know. It's a tight competition. Someone's gonna have to pull it out, but
were there any Vandy players on the all-name team?
I'm gonna have to check later, but I don't believe there were, which is surprising.
So they really don't make any teams. They don't make the first team.
They won't make an all.
They had a couple on the on the second team or third team SEC. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but anyways, guys, thanks for joining us on today's episode of Section 65. It was great talking to you. If you like the show, like and review, and subscribe. If you don't like the show, just ignore it. Act like it never happened. We don't really need your input. But yeah, I'm Tanner Colson with my the host, I guess I should say, Clay Keaton, and this is Section 65. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Go Vols.